Shalom. So hopefully all of this is pink. Maybe it is. Okay. That's not... That is where I meant to be. Okay. Okay. Genesis 43, 1. And the famine was sore in the land. Now the famine was still severe in the land. The harav, I forgot Chlad. And the hunger was severe in the land. The harav kaved ba'aretz. So, Ra'av is obviously hunger or famine. We've been using it a lot. Kaved ba'aretz. It was heavy. So kaved, you might recognize from kavod, which is oftentimes translated as glory. Literally, I usually use the word gravitas or gravity. Means heaviness. Kavod is also honor. Kaved ba'aretz, in the land, which when we talk about the land, that's in the vocalization, we're usually talking about the land of Israel. Although, yes, here it's all the lands. Okay, verse 2. And it came to pass when they had eaten up the corn which they had brought out of Egypt, their father said unto them, Go again, buy us a little food. So when they had eaten all the grain they had brought from Egypt, their father said to them, Go back and buy us a little more food. And it came to pass when they finished eating the grain that they had brought from Egypt, that their father said to them, Go back and buy us a little food. Rashi, not sure I want to do the Rashis. Okay. Vayehi ka'asher kilu le'echol et ha'shever asher haviu mitzrayim. Vayomer alehem avihem shuvu shivru alanu ma'at ochel. Okay, so Rashi is talking about ka'asher kilu. Kad shetziu, when they stopped. The one who renders kad sipiku is in error. When the camels had finished drinking, hagamalim lishtot meturgam kad sipiku is rendered katsipiku, which means they had drunk their fill. Yeah, sipiku means to be full. That was the end of this instance. So he's actually, this is a note about Aramaic translations. Not exactly sure why he's bothering with that. But kilu le'echol. So kala means to. So again, this is kind of like the 2 root versus 3 root thing. To finish, to even be spent or destroyed. Vayachulu hashamayim, right, in Genesis 2, or finished. And There is the alliteration, which is always important with ochel, to eat. Et hashever, so what they translated as corn. So this word shever is to deal in grain. So it's kind of like the asher haviu, which they had bought. Well, it's so this is the hefil of to come, which they had brought. Yeah, I mean, the word shever in it kind of has commerce given it inside of it. He said to them, Shuvu Shivru, right? So they translate, this is the same word, shever, here as to buy, so deal in grain. Ma'at, a little ochel, a little food. Yeah, I mean, the text is a lot more poetic in the Hebrew. It's alliterative, using the same word over and over again, which is getting translated differently in the English, which, yeah, don't know how you want to deal with that. And Judah spake unto him, saying, the man did solemnly protest unto us, saying, ye shall not see my face, except your brother be with you. But Judah said to him, the man warned us solemnly, you will not see my face again unless your brother is with you. If you will send our brother along, that's the next verse. But Judah spoke to him, saying, the man warned us repeatedly, saying, you shall not see my face if your brother is not with you. Vayomer alav Yehuda le'amor ha'ed he'id. So this is the repetition in the Semitic, which usually gets translated as shall surely. You'll see here it's the infinitive absolute before the perfect, right? And usually this gets translated as shall surely, or what did surely, or whatever. Banu ha'ish le'emor lo tir'u fanai bilti achichem itchem. So the word that's repeated here is to actually testify, aid, but they're translating it as warned. How did they translate it? Yeah, warned. So Rashi says, an expression of warning, since a warning is usually given in the presence of witnesses. In Jeremiah 11 and Exodus 19, apparently ed is used in a similar manner to warn, but it's usually the word is related to witnessing. You shall not see my face. Bilti meaning without. Onkelos, however, renders except with your brother is with you. He explains the verse according to its context, but he was not precise in translating according to the language of the verse. Okay. Yeah. I'm not sure why Rashi's so exact on the Onkelos here. Yeah, saying you shall not see my face. And part of this is also the Hebrew propensity of turning your face towards someone is a manner of being gracious to them, accepting them, as opposed to turning your back, which is a turn of face phrase that we don't really use in English in the same way. If thou wilt send our brother with us, we will go down and buy thee food. If you will send our brother along with us, we will go down and buy food for you. If you send our brother with us, we will go down and buy food for you. Im yeshcha mishaleach, interesting. Et achinu itanu nerda v'nishbara lecha ochel. So im is if, yeshcha. If there is for you, yeshcha, that's a very interesting way of putting it. Mishaleach, to send. I'm not sure I've seen this turn of phrase. There is for you to do such a thing. Et achinu itanu, with us. Otanu would be the direct object marker. This is the preposition itanu. Nerda, we will go down, and the hays here are the cohortative hay. Nerda, right? We will go down v'nishbara, and so going to Egypt is always going down. Leaving Israel is always going down, and the opposite is always going up. So nerda, we will go down and deal in grain. So very interesting things. And onto you, that's the singular you, right? Buy for you food, as if they themselves don't need to eat. Okay, verse 5. But if thou wilt not send him, we will not go down. For the man said unto us, ye shall not see my face, except your brother be with you. But if you will not send him, we will not go down, because the man said to us, you will not see my face again, unless your brother is with you. But if you do not send him, we will not go down, because the man said to us, you shall not see my face if your brother is not with you. Okay, ve'im eincha, and so this is the same as the previous verse, right? It was yeshcha, there is for you, there eincha, it is not for you, or you will not. Meshaleach, again, so meshaleach is the present participle. It's the present tense of the PL. So Pa'al is the simple or the call. PL is the intensive. And Sholeach, so it would be Sholeach if it was in the Pa'al. Most verbs, most roots show up in one or the other. And Sholeach seems to show up in both. But yeah. Lo nered, we will not go down. Ki ha'ish, because the man said to us, Lo tirufanai. So very similar to the previous verse in the way it's structured. Okay, verse 6. And Israel said, wherefore dealt ye so ill with me, as to tell the man whether ye had yet a brother? Israel asked, why did you bring this trouble on me by telling the man you had another brother? And Israel said, why have you harmed me by telling the man that you have another brother? Vayomer Israel, and it's interesting that it switches from Jacob to Israel. Lama herotem li lahagid la'ish ha'od lachem ach. So Israel says, Lama, why? Harotem. So this is the hefil, the causative of ra'ah, which is evil. I guess resh ayin ayin? Yeah, resh ayin ayin is what they're identifying it as. And it is written Bechisaron if you're paying attention to that. So why did you cause evil upon me, I guess, maybe is how I translate it. Lahagid, to tell, or lahagid is actually to convey or to reach or cause to touch. Right? To the man, la'ish. Ha'od lachem ach. So is it? That you had. So the hey here, I would almost want to say it's the interrogative hey. If you have another brother, and there's kind of like, yeah. So I think that they have prefix interrogative hey particle interrogative, that's what they call it. I think that's what the ha'od there is. The because yeah, it's just so this is just linked to od that more or so yeah, I think the hey there is kind of the interrogative particle. Whether you have another brother is how I would translate it. And they said, the man asked us straightly of our state and of our kindred, saying, is your father yet alive? Have ye another brother? And we told him, according to the tenor of these words, could we certainly know that he would say, bring your brother down? They replied, the man questioned us closely about ourselves and our family. Is your father still living? He asked us, do you have another brother? We simply answered his questions. How were we to know he would say, bring your brother down here? They said, the man asked about us and about our family, saying, is your father still alive? Do you have a brother? And we told him, according to these words, could we have known that he would say, bring your brother down? Yeah. Vayomru Shaol Sha'al Ha'ish Lanu Ul Moladetenu Le'emor Ha'od Avichem Chai Hayesh Lachem Ach Venaged Lo Al Pi Hadavarim Ha'ele Hayadua Neda Ki Yomar Horidu Et Achichem. So this is definitely using the interrogative particle a lot. So they said Sha'ol Sha'al. So the root is to ask, and again, this is the double language that usually gets translated as surely. I guess you could do specifically. The man Lanu regarding ourselves Ula Moladetanu. So a molad, the root yeled. So a yeled is a child, right? Vlad is giving birth, right? Yom Huledet is birthday in modern Hebrew. And so about our family, where it says to Abraham, where God says, Lech lecha mi artzecha mi moladetecha mi beit avicha, right? We usually translate that as God says, leave your birthplace. And I like to translate the same things the same way in so that people can make the connection. And this is very similar to what God said to Abraham. But again, yeah, family makes sense. Or yeah. Lemor ha'od avichem chai. Is your father still alive? Hayesh lachem ach. Do you have? Is there for you a brother? Venaged, and we said, al pi hadavarim, according to the things, right? In a light devarim ha'ele, in these things. So we answered him like he asked, right? Hayadua neda, and again, so there's the interrogative hey there, and did we surely know, or could we have known, right? So this is da'at, to know, and in the more intimate way of knowing that he would say horidu, so bring down or cause to come down. It's in the hefil of Laredet, et achichem, your brother. Yeah. Verse 8. And Judah said unto Israel his father, send the lad with me, and we will arise and go, that we may live and not die, both we and thou, and also our little ones. Then Judah said to Israel his father, send the boy along with me, and we will go at once, so that we and you and our children may live and not die. And Judah said to Israel his father, send the lad with me, and we will get up and go, and we will live and not die, both we and you, and also our young children. Vayomer Yehuda el Israel aviv shilha, right? And no, it's not the third person feminine singular there. That is the cohortative hey, I would say. Although, I mean, it's in the imperative. I would almost want to say just ignore the hey there. Although, I mean, shileach. So if you want to use the constructor on pa'alim, so constructor, so shin lamed het, shin lamed het, and is shilcha in the kal. So the imperative shlach. So shilcha, I guess, a cohortative. Let's see what they say. Cohorts. Of the verb cohortative. There we go. Looks very simple. Similarly, imperatives appear only in the second person form, and juice usually. So. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Say, shilcha. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. The lach is different in the, well, no, in the PL. Shileach or shalach. Not sure what to tell you. This is part of when things are a little strange in the Hebrew itself. Hana'ar, the young boy, et, with me. Ot would be the direct object marker. Venakuma, and we shall get up, again, cohortative. Lakum is to get up, to rise up. Nelcha, and we will go. V'nichyeh, and we shall live. V'lo namut, and we shall not die. Gam anachnu, gam ata, gam tapenu. Also us, also you, and also our little ones. Tough is like toddlers and stuff, so little kids. And it's like a collective noun for children from tafaf. I did not know it was from tafaf, but apparently in Isaiah, tafaf used with toupees. Huh. Mints. Oh, right. Now I remember. People have said toddlers because tough is toddlers because they take little steps. And that was actually, Genesis 45. No, it's to, he said to, I'm remembering Jacob speaking to Esav and me saying something about going at the speed of children, and I thought that was tough, but guess not, maybe. I don't know. Okay. Okay, verse 9. I will be surety for him, of my hand shalt thou require him. If I bring him not unto thee, and set him before thee, then let me bear the blame forever. I myself will guarantee his safety. You can hold me personally responsible for him. If I do not bring him back to you and set him here before you, I will bear the blame before you all my life. I will guarantee him. From my hand you can demand him. If I do not bring him to you and stand him up before you, I have sinned. I will have sinned against you forever. Anochi erveno miyadi tevakshenu im lo heviotiv elecha v'hitzagti lefanecha v'chatati elecha kol hayamim. Okay, really interesting way of putting it. So anochi is one of the ways that we say I. The linguists will tell you it's the less. It's actually the more informal way, although it's come to actually, like the, become the more formal manner in modern and rabbinic Hebrew. Especially because the Ten Commandments starts with Anochi. Ervenu, so an Orev is a guarantor, especially regarding a loan, pledge, exchange. Yeah, and you can find it in other places in the Bible. A Ravon. There are commandments regarding a pledge. That I'm not seeing them mention here. The word aravon. Different. That's different. No, not that. Yeah, there we go. Our Avon. Yeah, I don't know why they don't link these together. Um, so these are all in Genesis 38. Starting a pledge. Yeah, it bothers me that it doesn't just link those two together in the concordance. It links it this way, but not the other way. So, okay. Miyadi tevakshenu. So bakasha, bavakasha means please in modern Hebrew. Mevakesh means to require or ask. So tevakshenu or tevaksheno is how I would have thought of it. I don't know why it changes. I mean, they're saying third person masculine singular, which is obviously what it is, although the vocalization is throwing me off a little bit, and it might be because of the cancellations. I'm not very good with those. So, im lo heavy otiv. So heavy again is the causative, the hefil of to bring, to come. So it's to bring. If I do not bring him elav, the hitzagtiv. So hatzaga, that's not a verb I am very familiar with. It's actually used more than I thought, 16 times. Yatzag, to set or to place. First place is in Genesis 30. Lefanecha, before you, vechatati. So literally it means I have sinned. And it is an archery term. But let bear the blame. Okay, I mean, chatati lecha. I have sinned against you. I have transgressed against you. How did they translate it? Yeah, they did sinned. Kol hayamim. So literally all of the days. Rashi actually says Lo'olam haba, in the world to come. Kol hayamim, I mean, forever or for all time or for my entire life. But all of the days, literally. Okay, 10. For except we had lingered, surely now we had returned this second time. As it is, if we had not delayed, we could have gone and returned twice. Okay? For had we not tarried, by now we would have already returned twice. So let's see what the disagreement here is. Ki lule hit ma'nu, ki ata shavnu ze pa'amayim. So ki lule, if it was not otherwise, lule, and I don't know how many times this gets used in the Bible. More times than I thought, 14 times total. Where does this come from? Maybe from lu and le by dissimulation. Arabic, lula. Hit manu. So there is a stem hit palpel, right? Which is again the 2 radical versus 3 radical thing, and it is often an onomatopoeic. So they say maha to linger or tarry, and it currently only shows up in the hitpalpal. From ma, I'm not sure I agree with that one. Apparently denominative, like to ask, not sure I agree with that one. I think it's probably more onomatopoeia. We can look at the stem hitpalpal. So is an extremely rare stem formation. I'm not sure I would say extremely rare. It actually shows up more than I thought. Is a variation of hitpa'el stem and expresses a reflexive voice of the verbal action of the pilpel stem. The hitpalpel stem is formed by dropping the second radical and repeating the first and third radicals, thus making a form that appears to have 4 consonants. It is an extremely rare stem formation in biblical Hebrew. I guess the palpel is what I'm thinking. Many of the verbs in the hitpalpel stem in the Hebrew are from the root maha, to linger or delay. It is recommended to always consult a dictionary. So they have hitkalkel, right, from cool, which is the other one I was thinking of, and ishtashea, right? I personally think there is onomatopoeia involved in this. Let's see what they say about the palpal. Pilpel, sorry. This is a rare stem fern, is a variation of PL. Cool, yeah. Kalkala. So it does happen. I think there is onomatopoeia involved in it, but what do I know? I'm not a linguist. And the one place most people know this from is from the 13 Principles of Faith. It's a famous song, Ani ma'amin be'emunah shlema be'viat hamashiach ve'af al pi sheyitmamea, and even though he may take his time, bechol yom achake lo, I will await him every day. But if we had not lingered, ki ata shavnu ze fa'amayim. So by now, ki ata, I guess surely now, by now, et is time, ata is this time right now. Shavnu, we had returned, I guess, to him. Ze fa'amayim, already twice. So pa'am means one time, pa'amayim is the dual. So in English, we have singular and plural, right? So we say 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. In Hebrew, there is the singular, the dual, and the plural. So yom means 1 day, yamayim means 2 days, yamim means 3 or more days, right? And same thing with pa'am, pa'amayim, and pa'amim, right? 1 time, 2 times, and more than 2 times. So pa'amim. Okay. Verse 11. And their father Israel said unto them, if it must be now. Oh, I forgot. I'm not supposed to bang on the table. Apparently, it bothers people's speakers. I will try to remember not to do that. If it must be so now, do this. Take of the best fruits in the land in your vessels, and carry down the man a present, a little balm, and a little honey, spices, and myrrh, nuts, and almonds. Then their father Israel said to them, if it must be, then do this. Put some of the best products of the land in your bags and take them down to the man as a gift a little balm and a little honey, some spices and myrrh, some pistachio nuts and almonds. Okay. Um, so Israel, their father, said to them, "If so, then do this. Take some of the choice products of the land in your vessels, and take down to the man as a gift a little balm, a little honey, wax, and lotus, pistachios, and almonds." I'm not going to know these words. Okay. Vayomer alehen Israel avihem, im ken efozot asu efozot asu kechu mizimrat haaretz bichlechem vehoridu laish minha ma'at tsori u'ma'at davash nechot ve'valot botnim ushkedim. Okay. Apparently StreamYard is having problems, which it used to not have as much. So, yeah. Okay. So Israel said to them, their father said to them, Im ken, if so, efozot. So efozot, I actually thought, well, they said then. I don't know how much this shows up a bunch of times in Job, apparently. 15 times total from Poe. From here, hither. Okay. When I first read it, I kind of imagined that it might be from afui, to cook, but guess not. This zot asu, do this, right? Kechu mizimrat haaretz. So lakachat is to take, and this is in the asu, kechu. These are both in the command form. Mizimrat. So zemer is means sorry. Means to harvest. Choice products, zimra, from an unused verb, zamar. Yeah, so I have no idea why they're saying to trim or prune, tizmor. I'm not sure why they're saying from not from unused. Music, I think the music thing comes from plucking strings. That's I think that's the connection there. So maybe zemer is pluck is the best word for it. Bechlechem, in your vessels, in your utensils, things, right? Vehoridu laish, and take down to the man minha, and minha is best known as the afternoon prayers, but it's any sort of gift. I actually think it might come from to rest, noach. They say from an unused word. Exilic or post-exilic? Well, yeah, I mean, it eventually. To apportion, bestow, euphemistically, tribute, oblation. Okay. Ma'at tsori, so a little tsori, whatever tsori is, they're translating as balm. Balsam. Ma'at davash. So davash is honey. Um, and not necessarily, yeah, date honey. It might be not necessarily bee honey, but it could also be bee honey. Um, Nechot, I have very little idea what nechot is. Perhaps tragacanth? Twice in the Bible, from naka, to smite. Eek. Not sure I agree with that one. Yeah, not sure. Really not sure there. Valot. So lot mer, again used twice. Similar thing in Genesis 37. Laudanum. Probably from loot. I think Rashi. Oh. So I'm not sure why they said lotus. Don't know. Botnim. Not sure that's how you say pistachios in modern Hebrew. I'm not very good at modern Hebrew. Boten, pistachio, and this is the only place. Hmm. Ushkedim. Now, shkedim as almonds, that's definitely used in modern Hebrew, and that shows up many more times in the Bible. Not just these 4 times. Because I remember it's mentioned regarding Aaron's staff, shakad, to watch, wake. Huh. Not sure why they're not mentioning Aaron's staff blossoming. Or is that in, yeah, that is where it is. So this is number 17:8. So, okay. Next verse. And take double money in your hand, and the money that was brought again in the mouth of your sacks, carry it again in your hand. Peradventure, it was an oversight. Take double the amount of silver with you, for you must return the silver that was put back in the mouths of your sacks. Perhaps it was a mistake. And take double the money in your hands, and the money that was returned in the mouth of your sacks you shall return in your hands. Perhaps it was an error. V'chesef mishne kechu beyedchem, ve'et hakesef hamushav befi amchotechem tashivu beyedchem ulai mishge hu. Hey, nice to see you, Ben. Oh, I actually wanted to talk to you about. Glad you have internet again. I wanted to talk to you about self-publishing a book, because I'm in the process of possibly writing one, and I kept on meaning to talk to you about it. I'm thinking about just doing it on Kindle, but we'll talk about it later when you have time. Okay, so Chesef Mishneh. So Mishneh, yeah, I guess a double, or So it comes from the root two. So chesef is silver, also used for money. Kechu beyedchem, take in your hand. So this doesn't translate very well. It's all you all's hand, single hand. And that's not so strange in Hebrew. In English, we say dogs are cute. In Hebrew, you say dog is cute. So things being in the singular is not that strange. Ve'et hakesev hamushav, and the silver or money that was returned, mushav. It's the hufal participle. And hufal is the passive of the causative. So it was caused to be brought back. Befi am techotechem, in the mouths of your sacks, which is how the previous language was, tashivu beyetchem. So this is the hefil, right? So the hofal is the passive and the hefil is the causative, right? So beyetchem, again, same thing. Ulai mishgehu, perhaps. Ulai is perhaps or maybe. So shogeh can be mistake. Shigayon is also kind of like craziness, to go astray or err. Meander, roll, cause, through ignorance, transgress. Okay. Mishke, who, and the pronoun is being used as the present tense of the verb to be. Cool. Okay, verse 13. Take also your brother and arise, go again on to the man. Take your brother also and go back to the man at once. And take your brother and get up, go back to the man. Ve'et achichem kachu vekumu shuvu el ha'ish. So all of these are in the command form imperative. So, and your brother, take, arise, go back, el ha'ish, to the man. Pretty simple stuff. Verse 14. And God Almighty give you mercy before the man, that he may send away your other brother and Benjamin. If I be bereaved of my children, I am bereaved. And may God Almighty, Kel Shaddai, okay, grant you mercy before the man, so that he will let your other brother and Benjamin come back with you. As for me, if I am bereaved, I am bereaved. What? I am expecting. Okay. Abad. And may the Almighty God grant you compassion before the man, and he will release you your other brother and Benjamin. And as for me, as I am bereaved, I am bereaved. The Kel Shaddai, right? Yiten lachem rachamim lifnei ha'ish, v'shilach lachem et achichem. Acher ve'et Binyamin ve'ani ka'asher shachalti. So this is a particular name of God, Kel Shaddai. Yeah, some people would also not even say Shaddai. And I'm sure Rashi explains that. Yeah, from Shedai, that is enough. Right? You can read the Rashi there if you want. Yiten lachem rachamim, shall give to you mercy, lifnei haish, before this man. Yeah, I'm not sure it's translating correctly, because it's not saying that the man should have mercy on you. It's that God should have mercy on you, that the man should be in whatever way is good, right? I'm not sure that shows up in a translation. V'shilach lachem et achichem acher. So the literal translation here would be, and he shall send to you another brother. I'm wondering if Rashi talks acher. Yeah, so Rashi says that this is through Ruach HaKodesh, through the spirit of prophecy. He knew that it that also Joseph. So, Vet Binyamin v'ani ka'asher shacholti, so shachal, to be bereaved. 23 times in the Bible. Yeah, I mean, be bereaved. So, shacholti, shachalti. Ka'asher shacholti, shachalti. Right? If I am bereaved, I am bereaved. That I am bereaved, that I am bereaved. This repetition doesn't really, I don't know how well to translate it into English. And the men took that present, and they took a double money in their hand, and Benjamin, and rose up and went down to Egypt and stood before Joseph. So the men took the gifts and double the amount of silver, and Benjamin also. They hurried down to Egypt and presented themselves to Joseph. So the men took this gift, and they took double the money in their hands, and Benjamin, and they got up and went down to Egypt and stood before Joseph. V'yikchu ha'anashim et hamincha hazot u'mishne kesef lakchu beyadchem ve'et Binyamin ve'yakumu ve'yerdu Mitzrayim v'yamdu lifnei Yosef. So the man took hamincha hazot, this gift, this particular gift. So I guess, like he said, right? Umishne kesef, and twice double the silver. Beyadam, in their hand, and it is singular hand of all of them. Ve'et Binyamin, and Benjamin, Vayakumu Vayardu Mitzrayim, right? Similar language as it had before. Vayamdu lifnei Yosef, and they stood before Joseph. 16. And when Joseph saw Benjamin with them, he said to the ruler of his house, "Bring these men home, and slay and make ready, for these men shall dine with me at noon." When Joseph saw Benjamin with them, he said to the steward to his house, "Take these men to my house, slaughter an animal and prepare a meal. They are to eat with me at noon." When Joseph saw Benjamin with them, he said to the overseer of his house, "Bring the men into the house and give orders to slaughter an animal and to prepare, for the men will eat with me at lunch. Okay. Ve'yar Yosef itam et Binyamin vayomer la'asher al beito have et ha'anashim habaita utvoach tevach v'hachen ki iti yochlu ha'anashim bat soharaim. So Joseph saw with them Benjamin, right? So the itam is with, et is the direct object marker there, and said la'asher al beito, to that which is over his house. Doesn't really say what was over his house, but to that which was over his house. Have et ha'anishim habaita, bring the men home to. So habaita. So the second hey there is the directional hey, not that morphology is wrong on the right side there. Sorry. Yeah. Utvoach tevach, and again. So, and tabach is to slaughter. I think it's to butcher. Yeah. And mitbach is a kitchen in modern Hebrew. So, butcher an animal, something that is butchered, right? V'hachen, and make ready or prepare. Ki iti, because with me, yochlu ha'anashim, these men, ba tzoharayim. I would have probably translated in the afternoon, midday, noon, tzahar. Yeah. Noonday, yeah, midday, from tzahar. To press out oil? Really? That's related? Okay. Sorry. Really? I did not know there was a connection with oil. I guess that makes sense, to press oil. Guess when it's really light out, maybe? Yeah. Okay. 17. And the man did as Joseph bade, and the man brought the men into Joseph's house. The man did as Joseph told him and took the men to Joseph's house. And the man did as Joseph had said, and the man brought the men into Joseph's house. Vayas ha'ish ka'asher amar Yosef, vayaveh ha'ish et ha'anashim beta Yosef. So he did as Joseph said, and brought, the man brought the people, right? Ish anashim. Ish is man, anashim is men in the plural. Beta Yosef. And again, this is the directional hey at the end of beit. So words into the house of Joseph. And the men were afraid because they were brought into Joseph's house, and they said, because of the money that was returned in our sacks at the first time are we brought in, that he may seek occasion against us and fall upon us and take us for bondmen and our asses. Okay. Now the men were frightened when they were taken to his house. They thought, we were brought here because of the silver that was put back into our sacks the first time. He wants to attack us and overpower us and seize us as slaves and take our donkeys. And while this may seem weird to you, in the symbolism, Chamar, right, the donkey, Chamor, and the Chumriyut, the physicality, it's symbolically in the Hebrew, this is actually a not why are they saying these weird things thing. In fact, I'm sure the Kabbalists have a lot to say about all of the things in this chapter that I'm not capable of explaining. Now the men were frightened because they had been brought into Joseph's house, and they said, on account of the money that came back in our sacks at first, we are brought to roll upon us and fall upon us and take us as slaves and our donkeys as well. Look at the Hebrew. Ve'yir'u ha'anashim ki huv'u Beit Yosef vayomru al devar hakesev hashav ba'amtechotenu batchila anachnu amuvaim lehitgolal aleinu ulehitnapel aleinu velakachat otanu la'avadim ve'et chamorenu. Yeah, I'm sure the Kabbalists have a lot to say about what these words mean. So it has a double yud because the root here is yud resh aleph, not resh aleph hey. It's fear, not to see. Ki huv'u, we're using the hofal here more than, I mean, it's a rather rare thing to be used, and it's being used in this chapter a lot. So they were brought. Beit Yosef. V'yomru al devar hakesef hashav, the regarding, right, al devar hakesef, the water, or the silver, hashav abam tochenu, that was returned, right? I mean, yeah. Batchila anachnu muvaim, at the very beginning, I'm not sure I would say the first time. Batchila anachnu muvaim, we're again hofal. Lehitgolel aleinu. So glal is to roll over. Maybe I would say to bowl us over. Yeah, and the hits used in Samuel in the reflexive. Okay. Aleinu lehit napel aleinu. So nafal means to fall. Fall down, to come down. Velakachat otanu la'avadim, and to take us as slaves. Ve'et chamorenu, and our donkeys. And in a more figurative sense, our material existence. And I do have to say, lehit golel does remind me of Gilgul, which is reincarnation, and lehit napel. Yeah, I'm spiritually and symbolically, I'm guessing there's a lot which the Kabbalists have to say about this verse. I'm not sure how I would translate it. But the good thing about it is I don't believe in translating the Bible, so not my problem. Okay. And they came near to the steward of Joseph's house, and they communed with him at the door of the house. So they went up to Joseph's steward and spoke to him at the entrance to the house. So they drew near the man who was over Joseph's house, and they spoke to him at the entrance of the house. Veyikshu el ha'ish asher al beit Yosef vayidabru alav petach habayit. So lahagish is can be to present, to come close to, veyigash. To the man who was over Joseph's house, Veidabru alav petach habayit, and they spoke to him at the opening, petach, at the door of the house. Again, there's a lot of symbolism here. I'm not sure it translates at all. And said, "O sir, we came indeed down at the first time to buy food." "We beg your pardon, our lord," they said. "We came down here the first time to buy food." And they said, "Please, my lord, we came down at first to purchase food." Vayomru bi Adoni yaradnu batchila lishabor ochel. And they said, interesting, Bi Adoni. So Adon is usually translated as Lord, or Sir is fine. Like I said, in Israel, if you're talking to your taxi driver, you say Adoni, right? Sir, right? My Lord, my master, my sir. But it's not as crazy as our modern ears would hear it. But Bi Adoni, let's put Rashi says, Bi, an expression of entreaty and supplication. In Aramaic, Bai Bai. Apparently this is based on Onkelos. Literally, Bi means upon me. And yeah, it's not Banu. It's not on us. They said upon. Interesting. And it's not Adonenu, right? Our Lord. It's my Lord. It's in the singular. Yarod Yaradnu. Right? So indeed we came down. Surely, again, it's that double language there. But Chila, in the beginning, Lishabor ochel, and shever is again to deal in grain. 21. And it came to pass when we came to the inn that we opened our sacks, and behold, every man's money was in the mouth of his sack, our money in full weight, and we have brought it again in our hand. But at the place where we stopped for the night, we opened our sacks, and each of us found his silver, the exact weight, in the mouth of his sack. So we have brought it back with us. And it came to pass when we came to the lodging place that we opened our sacks. And behold, each man's money was in the mouth of the sack, our money in full weight, and we returned it in our hands. And this is very similar to the language before where this was described. Veyehi ki vanu el hamalon veniftacha et amchotenu vehine chesef ish befi am tachto kaspenu bemishkalo venashev oto beyadenu. So it was when we came to the malon. Malon in modern Hebrew is a hotel. It's a place to lie down, a place to sleep. Veniftecha, and we opened et amchotenu, our sacks. Hine, I usually translate hine as behold, because I like to translate it the same everywhere. The silver was in the mouth of the sack, and this is just the way this has been explained the whole way through. Kaspenu b'mishkalo. So literally, our silver as it is weighted, right? And yeah, I completely agree with saying in full, right? But literally, I mean, it's just saying bimishkalo and its weight, right? It's I guess in its full weight, but v'nashev oto beyadenu, and we brought it back in our hand. 22. And other money have we brought down in our hands to buy food. We cannot tell who put our money in our sacks. We have also brought additional silver with us to buy food. We don't know who put our silver in our sacks. And we brought down other money in our hands to purchase food. We do not know who put our money in our sacks. וכסף אחר הורדנו בידינו לשבור אוכל, לא ידענו כי מי שם, כספנו באמתחותינו. So, and a different silver, more money, right, we brought down in our hand, lishbor, to deal in grain, food. Lo yadanu, we do not know, and again, this is the intimate sort of knowing. It's been used all the way through. Mi sam kaspenu be'amtochenu, who put our money in our sacks? Lasum is to put or to set. Okay, 23. And he said, peace be to you, fear not, your God and the God of your father hath given you treasure in your sacks. I had your money, and he brought Simeon out unto them. It's all right, he said, don't be afraid. Your God, the God of your father, has given your treasure in your sack. I received your silver. Then he brought Simeon out to them. And he said, peace to you. Fear not, your God and the God of your father gave you a treasure in your sacks. Your money came to me, and he brought Simeon out to them. Vayomer, shalom lachem, al tirau, Elokechem ve'elokei avichem natan lachem matmon be'amtechotechem, kaspechem ba'elai vayotze alehem et Shimon. Okay. So he said to them, Shalom lachem. So literally, peace be with you. I almost want to say greetings. Al tirau, do not be afraid. Your God and the God of your avichem, all y'all's father in the singular. Natan lachem matmon. So matmon literally means something that's hidden, tamun, right? But treasure is right. But hidden treasure, right? From taman, to hide or conceal. In your sacks. Kaspechem ba'elai. So I got the money. I got your money. So, which he's lying about. I mean, it said earlier, Yosef gave him. So, veyotze. So yotze is to cause to come out, right? Alehem, for them, Shimon, Simon. Okay, 24. And the man brought the men into Joseph's house and gave them water, and they washed their feet, and he gave their asses provender. The steward took the men into Joseph's house, gave them water to wash their feet, and provided fodder for their donkeys. Then the man brought the men, the brothers, into Joseph's house, and he gave them water, and they washed their feet, and he gave fodder to their donkeys. Vayaveh ha'ish et ha'anashim beita Yosef, vayiten mayim, vayirchatzu raglehem, vayiten mispo lechamorehem. So brings them Beita Yosef. So again, this is the directional hay towards the house of Yosef. Vayiten mayim, and he gave to them water. Vayirchatzu raglehem, and they washed their feet. Rahatz is to wash. Vayiten mispo. So mispo is feed for animals. Lechamorehem, to their donkeys. Okay, 25. And they made ready the present against Joseph came at noon. Made ready the present against Joseph, for they heard that they should eat a bread there. See what NIV says. They prepared their gift for Joseph's arrival at noon, because they had heard that they were to eat there. And they prepared the gift until Joseph would come at lunchtime, for they heard that there they would eat bread. Okay, let's look at what the Hebrew is. Vayachinu et hamincha ad bo Yosef batzoraim. Whoa, I did not expect this to be so simple. Ki shamu ki sham yochlu lachem. Okay, so v'yachinu et hamincha, and they prepared the gift ad bo Yosef, until Joseph got there, batzoraim, at noon. I'm not sure why there was so much confusion in the translation. Ki shamu, because they had heard, ki sham yochlu lachem, they would eat bread there. And it changed from lechem to lachem just because where it is in the sentence. Yeah, not sure why this is getting translated in different ways. Yeah, adbo until, yeah, this is pretty simple stuff. Unless the Septuagint like says something slightly different, and I don't know. Usually when the Christian translations are off and confused from the simple Hebrew, it's because there's some sort of weird theological thing going on with the Christians. Oftentimes because that this verse is quoted in the Greek Bible, but I don't know where that would be. Okay, 26. And when Joseph came home, they brought him the present which was in their hand into the house, and bowed themselves to him to the earth. When Joseph came home, they presented to him the gifts that they had brought into the house, and they bowed down before him to the ground. And Joseph came home, and they brought him the gift that was in their hand into the house, and they prostrated themselves to him to the ground. Vayavo Yosef habaita vayaviu lo et haminha asher beyadam habaita vayishtahavu lo arza. So Joseph comes habaita, towards the home, right? Again, this is the directional hay. And they brought for him vayaviu lo et haminha, right? The gift. Asher beyadam habaita, again, towards the house, right? And again, I have to say this is a very alliterative text and poetic text, which was part of the reason why it reads kind of strange in the English. Vayishtachavu lo arza, and they bowed down to him towards the ground, arza, towards the ground. Okay. Again, the directional hay being used over and over again, which is considered poetic and alliterative in the Hebrew. Okay. And he asked them of their welfare and said, "Is your father well? The old man of whom ye spoke, is he yet alive?" And this is a very famous verse in the Hebrew. He asked them, how they were, and then he said, "How is your aged father you told me about? Is he still living?" He inquired after their welfare, and he said to them, "Is your elderly father, whom you mentioned well, is he still alive?" וישאל להם לשלום, ויאמר, השלום אביכם הזקן, אשר אמרתם העודנו חי. And this העודנו חי, עוד אבינו חי, right, it has become a turn of phrase in the Hebrew within Judaism. So he asked le shalom regarding their welfare, le shalom, right? Vayomer hashalom achichem, right? So this is again the hey here is not the article; it's the interrogative particle, right? Hashalom avichem hazaken, right? Is your old father well? Asher amartem, which you spoke about. Right? Ha'odenu chai, is he still alive? Again, this is all the interrogative. 28. And they answered, "Thy servant our father is in good health, yet he is yet alive." And they bowed down their heads and made obeisance. They replied, "Your servant our father is still alive and well," and they bowed down, prostrating themselves before him. And they said, "Your servant our father is well, he is still alive," and they bowed and prostrated themselves. Vayomru shalom la'avdecha la'avinu odenu chai v'yikdu v'yishtachavu. Okay, so they said, "Shalom la'avdecha," right? Is in good health, is well with. Again, not sure how you translate this exactly, but it's pretty clear what it means. Your servant, our father, la'avdecha la'avinu. Odenu chai, he is still alive. V'yikdu, so kodad is literally forehead. Kod is to bow down from. Kod is, I'm pretty sure, is skull. They're not. I thought it's a biblical Hebrew word, but maybe it's not. Yeah, there it is. Kod. Yeah. Head, crown of the head. I wish it would link these together. Yeah, and it does on this way, but not the other way. I hate when they do that, but they do. Okay. And so what you're seeing here is the kativ versus the kri, and that's why it has a K and a Q here. Kativ is how it's written. So it's written with only one vav, which kind of makes you wonder, because if veishtachavu, right, then you have a shuruk under the vav, and that's why, although, I mean, it looks the same. So, and they mishtachavim, right, literally to worship, but well, it's to bow, which also means to worship, but yeah, think you get what I mean. So that's why you see the two there, right? It's the kativ and the kri. How we read it is not precisely how it's written, although it kind of is. Okay, 29. And he lifted up his eyes and saw his brother Benjamin, his mother's son, and said, Is this your younger brother, of whom ye spake unto me? And he said, God be gracious unto thee, my son. And he looked about and saw his brother Benjamin, his own mother's son. He asked, Is this your youngest brother, the one you told me about? And he said, God be gracious to you, my son. And he lifted his eyes and saw Benjamin, his brother, the son of his mother. And he said, Is this your little brother whom you told me about? And he said, May God favor you, my son. וישא עיניו וירא את בנימין אחיו בן אמו ויאמר הזה אחיכם הקטון אשר אמרתם אלי ויאמר אלוקים יחנך בני. Interesting. Okay. So to raise your eyes and see is a common expression in the Bible. And it just means to notice, really. So he saw Benjamin Achiv, his brother, Ben Imo, the son of his mother. And he said, Hazeh Achichem. Again, this is the interrogative hey there, right? Is it that this is your brother? Hakaton, the youngest. I guess, youngest is how I would translate it. Asher Amar, which you said to me. And he said, God, Elohim, Yochnecha. So Chonen is, I guess, it is related to Chen. So the name Yochanan, right, as in John, is God is gracious, to show Hanan, to show favor. Beni, my son. Okay. Verse 30. And Joseph made haste, for his bowels did yearn upon his brother, and he sought where to weep, and he entered into his chamber and wept there. Deeply moved at the sight of his brother, Joseph hurried out and looked for a place to weep. He went into his private room and wept there. And Joseph hastened, for his mercy was stirred toward his brother, and he wanted to weep. So he went into the room and wept there. Let's see what the Hebrew is. Vayimaher Yosef ki nichmeru rahamav. Interesting. El achiv vayivakesh livkot vayavo hachadra, vayevk shama. So vayimaher, right? Maher means to make haste, to be quick. Yosef nikramu, so kamar, mem resh, to grow warm. Interesting. Used 4 times in the Bible. Fermentation of food, to heat up. Interesting. So it's used here in Genesis, once in Kings, once in the Lamentations, and once in Hosea. So in Kings, it's also Rachameha. So there it's talking about her. So Rechem, while it means mercy, actually also refers to a womb. So I think that's why the bowels thing. So Nichmeru Rachamav, his insides, I guess, make sense. El Achiv, Vayivakesh Livkot, and he wanted to, Boche is to weep, to cry. Vayavo hachadra, so cheder is a room, a chamber, right? So towards the room, I guess the private room makes sense. Vayevk Shama, and he wept there. And all of these are directional haze. Chadra Shama, right? 31. And he washed his face and went out and refrained himself and said, set on bread. After he had washed his face, he came out and, controlling himself, said, serve the food. And he washed his face and came out and he restrained himself and said, serve the food. Vayirchatz panav vayetze vayitapak vayomar simu lachem. So rachatz is to wash, right? Panav, his face. Vayetze, came out. Vayitapak. So it is in the reflexive. Apak, to hold, be strong. 7 times. Apparently, it's always in the reflexive. Okay, to control, to be strong. Okay. And he said, Simu, serve, right? He gave the command, lachem. Set bread, serve bread. 32. And they set on for him by himself, and for them by themselves, and for the Egyptians which did eat with him by themselves, because the Egyptians might not eat bread with the Hebrews, for that is an abomination unto the Egyptians. Okay. They served him by himself, the brothers by themselves, and the Egyptians who ate with him by themselves, because Egyptians could not eat with Hebrews, for that is detestable to Egyptians. And they set for him separately, and for them separately, and for the Egyptians who ate with him separately, because the Egyptians could not eat food with the Hebrews, because it is an abomination to the Egyptians. And apparently Onkelos gives a reason for why that is, which Rashi's not telling us. Kind of want to know what that is. I'm actually going to look it up. Sefaria. Where are we? 43, 31. 32. Targum Onkelos. Because it is loathsome, the animal that the Egyptians worship, the Hebrews eat. I see. The Mitzrayim. The Chalin le Ivra Achlin. So, yeah, this is something that's said a lot, that the Egyptians would worship calves, and to have a Hebrew eating calves in front of them was some sort of abomination, according to Onkelos there. I wonder what the historians have to say about this stuff, but let's look at the Hebrew. Vayasimu lo levado, velahem levadam, velamitzrim haochlim ito levadam. Ki lo yuchlun ha-mitzrayim le'echol et ha'ivrim lehem ki to'evahi le'mitzrayim. So they set for him by himself levado, right? Velahem levadam, and for them by themselves. Velamitzrim ha'ochlim ito, and for the Egyptians who, I guess the people who were of such a station that they would eat with Joseph at the same time as Joseph. Levadam, right, by themselves. Ki lo yuchlun hamitzrim lechol, because they could not eat et ha'ivrim, with the, this is not the direct object marker, this is the preposition. So with the lechol et ha'ivrim would be they could not eat the Hebrews. That's a mistake. That's not a direct object marker. Lechem, well, so I mean it's literally bread, but yeah, I guess. I mean, Unclus is saying, although I guess you could say they may have worshipped wheat as well. To'eva hi lemitzrim. So it is an abomination, right? To'eva is an abomination. It's used a lot in the Bible. And the pronoun is being used as the verb to be for Egyptians. Okay, 33. And they sat before him, the firstborn according to his birthright, and the youngest according to his youth. And the men marveled one at another. The men had been seated before him in the order of their ages, from the firstborn to the youngest, and they looked at each other in astonishment, because how did they know how old they sat before him, the firstborn according to his age, and the youngest according to his youth. And the men looked at each other in astonishment. So Rashi from the Genesis Rabbah says, he knocked his goblet and announced, Reuven, Shimon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, and Zebulun, sons of one mother, sit in this order, which is the order of your births. And so did he order all of them. When he reached Benjamin, he said, this one has no mother, and I have no mother. Let him sit beside me. So this is apparently a midrash. Okay. V'yeshvu lefanav habechor ki bechorato v'hatzair kitzit rato v'yitmahu ha'anashim ish el re'ehu. So, and they caused to sit v'yeshvu. So they're saying it's the okay. They're saying it's the call. And the men sat. Yeshvu lefanav. HaBechor kebechoratav. So Bechor means firstborn, and according to his being a firstborn, right? Or according to his birthright. Bechorah is birthright. Like Vayavaz Esav et HaBechorah. Esav scorned his birthright. V'hatzair, and so tzair means young. Ket tzeirato, according to his youth. V'yitmahu, so tamoa is to wonder or to be astonished, right? Hanashim ish el re'ehu, one unto his colleague, right? His the other, his friend. 34, and this is the last verse. And he took and sent messes unto them from before him. But Benjamin's mess was 5 times so much as any of theirs, and they drank and were merry with him. Okay. When portions were served to them from Joseph's table, Benjamin's portion was 5 times as much as anyone else's. So they feasted and drank freely with him. And he had portions brought to them from before him, and Benjamin's portion was 5 times as large as the portions of any of them, and they drank and became intoxicated with him. Okay. Well, I mean, okay, Rashi's giving us midrashim. Ve'yis'a mas'ot me'et panav alehem, v'terev mas'at Binyamin mimas'at kulam chamesh yadot veyishtu veyishkaru imo. Okay. So vayisa means to lift up, and mas'a is something that is lifted up, right? So he yeah, took portions, gave portions, apportioned, I guess. Me'et panav, from before him, literally from. And this me'et is something that actually confuses a lot of translations. It's a common way of talking about it. Sometimes I translate me'et as from and with. Alehem, to them. Veterev, so larov, ruv is multiply, right? Much, rav, right? Mas'at Benjamin, the portion of Benjamin. Mi mas'at kulam, from the portion of all of them. So it's almost like, seems like he gave 5 times to Benjamin what he gave the other 10, which is strange. Does Rashi? He put the port. So Rashi's saying, oh, by the way, yadot, yeah, chamesh yadot. Yadot literally means hands. But yeah. So Rashi's saying because he included himself, his wife, and his 2 kids, so the 5 of them, with Benjamin. V'yishtu, shoteh is to drink. V'yishkaru, shikor in modern Hebrew means drunk. Yeah, to become drunk. Strong drink is sheker, shar. Self-destruction. To be filled with drink abundantly, to make merry, become tipsy. From shaka, to not sure I would agree with that. Resh is not the weakest of verbs, and that's with a kuf. Yeah, no, I don't agree with that one. Okay, and they made merry with him. Okay, that was this week's thing. Hey, Sherry. I have an imminent task for you, Jacob. Could you look over Exodus 33:18 for me real quick? Yes, I can, now that I've seen what you wrote. Let's look at Exodus 33:18. Vayomer har'eni na et kevodecha. Show me your glory. What is your question, Ms. Sherry? I am going to DM Sherry to see. Okay. Hey, Ben. See ya. I will actually. So. So not sure why she wanted me to look at that one. So not exactly sure what share you wanted with this. Kevodcha. So Anane Kavod, the clouds of glory, is what I'm guessing she's asking. Uh, Okay, well, I tried waiting for Sherry, but she's not showing up. Sorry about that. The video was loading. I am going to go. Oh, I forgot Stefania39. Huh. Remember Stefania39. כי אז אפוך אל עמים שפה ברע לקרוא כולם בשם השם לעובדושכם אחד, for then I will restore to the peoples a pure language, that they may all call on the name of the Tetragrammaton to serve him with one accord. Bye, people.